Well, let us see what is the next best thing that the entire Blender community, along with other software dependent on Blender software, has brought up to the plate this week. So the first thing was by Omar Emara in the Compositor, unifying the texture node between CPU and GPU. What this actually means is, when we had an image, a texture, and the same thing was imported in the Compositor window, and if a difference was applied to it, there was a little bit of change in the color. If there was no change, this would have been black, but this and this is giving a little bit of difference. So thanks to Emara, the coming Blender won't have that problem. Thank you, Omar. Thank you very much. In the newer version of Blender, Grease Pencil version 3rd is going to come. So multiple strokes modifier has been implemented from Grease Pencil 2 to Grease Pencil 3. And all the features are working as intended. So thanks to Wing Ming Wu for bringing us this to the platter. And speaking of Wing Ming Wu, he has also bought the length modifier from Grease Pencil version 2 to Grease Pencil version 3. Thank you, Wing Ming Wu. And again, speaking of Wing Ming Wu, he has bought Vertex Weight Angle modifier to Grease Pencil version 3, which will be available in the coming versions of Blender. Thanks to Wing Ming Wu, we are going to get Vertex Weight Angle modifier. Array modifier, thanks to Wing Ming Wu, has migrated from Grease Pencil version 2 to Grease Pencil version 3. Duplicate layer, thanks to Falk David, has been bought to Grease Pencil version 3. Weight proximity modifier has been brought to Grease Pencil version 3. Thanks to Wing Ming Wu. Wouldn't it be great if you could just pick up the child and place it somewhere and let it be there for the rest of eternity of life until you get free of your work, of course, and then take him somewhere else. But kids don't work that way. Blender helps us to do exactly what we want it to do. So we are getting this object transform node as well as viewport transform node, which will allow us to access the transforming of the object very nicely, thanks to Hans Gude. By the way, I'm sorry if I'm not pronunciating your name correctly. Geometry nodes, matrix socket type, attribute type, and initial nodes. What does it mean? It means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 new nodes in geometry node down. We got more nodes. What it will do, I don't know. I should be slapping myself because I'm not learning it. Thanks, Hans Gude. The next node in the town of geometry nodes is by the god of geometry node, Jack Luke. I don't know what it actually does, but whatever it does something great for the entire community as a whole. So in the node section, Damien Picard and Hans Gude together has been working on this process of getting to expose the multi-input sockets to custom nodes in the Python API. It means that you could connect lots of outputs into the same inputs. Hide uneditable input sockets inside bar. Yeah, this is like a very small and trivial things, like a small pebble in your boot. You can walk, but you can't walk nicely. Before, what used to happen is this geometry selection and position, which can only have inputs and don't have any parameters to be changed, they have been removed completely. Only those will be visible over here which have parameters that can be changed. Thanks to Jack Luke, the god of geometry nodes, we have got this thing. And also Simon Thoms and Hans Gude to involve themselves with this project. Thank you very much. In life, wouldn't it be great if you could stop some processes right in the middle? But life doesn't work that way. But Blender can help us, especially in real-time compositor. You can cancel when the process is going on. So currently it is being implemented for denoise node, but it will be coming on for the different nodes hopefully. And thanks to Omar Emara and Sergey Shibrin, Dr. Sergey Shibrin, to involve themselves with this beautiful pull request. When people like these are there around, your life gets beautiful and wonderful at the same time. Yeah, this is really nice thing. Let me show you what it actually is. When this object is hidden, and if you still paint on it, it's going to affect that object, which should not be the case. He's trying to pull it, and when you unhide it, it's being applied there. So the best option would be to just hide the object and not let it affect it. When you hide an object and when you try to sculpt or paint or do anything on the object which is hidden, it won't be affected. Really nicely implemented by Mr. CN Kim and Raul Fernandez. They are growing the mask and then trying to hide it, and then if we grow the mask, it should not be affecting it. In the same manner, paint, if you are trying to paint it and hide it, it should not be affecting it because it is hidden. The same thing happens with the mask from a cavity. If it is hidden, it won't be affecting it. So really nicely done. Thanks CN Kim and Mr. Hernandez. Nice name, by the way. The same thing also happens further. CN Kim and Raul Fernandez have also thought of bringing this to lots of different areas of the sculpting, like mesh filter, cloth filter, color filter. Once you have hidden the object, it won't be affecting it. Now it is affecting it. And if you go on and hide that object, it shouldn't be affected on it. If you're changing the color, it will be affecting it. And the moment you hide the object and try to change the color, you will feel like it should not work, and it will do exactly that thing. It will not be working on hidden objects. Thanks to Julian Casper, CN Kim, as well as Raul Hernandez for working on this together. Thank you very much. The same thing further, disable face set operators on invisible objects. CN Kim, Raul Hernandez, as well as, I hope Julian Casper is also here with them. Yes, Julian Casper. So face sets from visible, face sets from edit mode, initialize face sets, grow, shrink, randomize, toggle, hide, lock, box, face set, lasso face set. Lots of different options will not be working if the object is hidden, as it should be. Disable set pivot and select color on invisible objects. Same thing. Set pivot sample colors. When the object is hidden, it won't be affecting it. UI. In life, if you are traveling in the bus, wouldn't it be great that if you could just fall into place when there is a lot of crowd in the bus? But life doesn't work like that. Blender does work like that, because people like Harley Action are committed to bring this type of changes. A little thing that makes a big difference. Small change, but it does make a big difference. It's like lipstick. It's not that important. It doesn't give you vitamin or any minerals, but it does make a difference. UI, line under title for property dialog. Yeah. When these windows are coming up, we will be getting a separated line, nicer, cleaner and tidier. Thank you Harley Action for coming up with this beautiful looks, because looks do make a difference. Include Opus extension in the audio filter list. Now look at this thing, because Pratik Borade may not have done something of a big right out of the box, but look what, from the perspective of coding part, was just add this single line. Half of the work is done. You know who you should be thanking right now? These two things which are going to come right now on the screen. Add interior horizontal padding to menu separator lines. We are going to have the separator lines from now on, which will give us a very nice look to the menus, and they are going to have a little bit of padding. So thanks to Pablo Vesquez, Harley Action for involving themselves with this concept. Fix file PT operator drawing line when using UI layout panel. What does it actually mean? This is the main thing, and this is the patch. This is a very small thing, but look how beautiful they have implemented it. They have given a little bit of color difference to this thing. It may not be a big thing, but just by looking at it, you can understand that this must be related to this. Thanks to Jesse Yurkovich. Thank you, Yurkovich. Thank you very much. Add set sharpness by angle to edge menu. Aaron Carlisle. These three lines were added so that you could get this operator inside the edit mode, inside the edge mode. You can just right click and set the sharpness by angle. And we should be thanking Hans Godey and Campbell Barton for involving themselves with. And you should be thankful for one more thing. These two slides. Some people who try to become beautiful try to insert silicone in their body, no matter whatever the place is. That's like an add-on. Lots of people may not be able to afford it, so instead of that, what they use is they use lipstick, mascara, or some other hooks or pins or tattoos, something else. So those are some kind of extensions. The same thing which you use for Google Chrome to get more options to make your life easier and better at the same time. Welcome to the extensions platform for Blender. What it actually does is when you go to this extensions.blender.org, you get to this awesome thing, and when you click on this thing, let me get you to this thing like camera plane. What it actually does is it imports image and parents them right to the camera. What more do you want? You can find out the compatibility of which software it can be compatible with, what are its licenses. You can get the add-on, you can just drag it and drop it into the newer Blender or whatever the Blender is required over here. Isn't it great? It's awesome. By the way, just search for Blender extension. It is still in alpha production, and there are instances that it might cause some troubles, but if you are facing some troubles, please mention it to them so that they could rectify the issues very quickly. And currently there are this many, but lots and lots are going to come on the way. You don't know the potential this is going to bring to Blender. Some people are also experimenting with themes. I'm really thankful to the entire community, the headquarters of Blender, Juan Rosendahl, Pablo Vesquez, Delay Fernando, Francisco Siddi, and all the different people, Julian Casper, and lots of people are there which are connected to this thing. Yeah, he could be Blender Bob, he could be Smeef, he could be Kaizen YouTube channel, Southern Shotty, and also these two slides. Anim bone property panel add missing solo property. What it actually means. Thanks to Sibrin Ace Tuvil, soloing out a single bone. So there are lots of bones, but with the help of soloing, you can see the exact bone which you want to see. Just like when you are on a date, you just want to see only one thing, like which are her eyes, and below that which is her nose. Compositor use original hue in hue correct node. Currently hue correct node is adjusted to so and so. What it actually means. So in the hue correct node in the compositor, when a person tries to change the red color to the blue color and he wants to change the saturation of the blue color, he has to change the saturation of the blue color, but actually he has to change the saturation of the red color. So there is some kind of to bring a uniformity in the thought process of a compositor. Omar Emara has taken up this giant task of bringing the original hue to hue correct node. Basically, he has made life simpler for the compositors out there. Text editor add GLSL support a language. We have this open GL shading language. So this is being supported by the text editor. I don't know what these people are coming up with, especially the AI. One day all you need to do is just type, I want cute kid, blue eyes, smiling faces, no potty, no crying, happy face, happy smiling, giggling all the time. I speak anything, giggle. I do anything, giggle. Love me. So this is a parcel for you. And when you open the parcel, oh, it's so adorable. I'm going to post it on TikTok and everywhere so that I could milk the cute face. And then thanks to Julian Casper, he has brought edit Dyn topo detail size and resolution value for visual feedback. So visually you can see how the Dyn topo is going to work, what is the density of those objects when you are going to sculpt a 3D object. So thank you Julian Casper. So this is how you can see how the Real-time visual feedback is going to be visible so that we can understand how dense the mesh is going to be, instead of just relying on the number and trying to guess that this might be how it is going to be visible. Thank you CN Kim, Raul Fernandez, as well as Julian Casper and Dr. Sergey Sharbrain. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your names wrong. Sample grid node. You're getting a new grid node inside the town node thanks to Hans Gude, Lucas Tone and Jacques Luke, the god of geometry nodes. Thank you very much. Support wildcard to remove named attribute node. So Jack Lucas along with Simon Thomas and Hans Gude has involved themselves inside creating this stored attributes and then trying to change it with a single node at the same time. Overall, isn't it great? Yes, it is. What you should be thankful of? The two cards on your screen coming up right now. Align input and output sockets in simulation and repeat zone nodes. This is a very simple thing, very trivial thing, but Jack Lucas has an eye for these things. Like, it may not be a big thing for some people, but it really does make a difference. Like, you see geometry and geometry, this is what they have done, and this is what it used to be, geometry, and then geometry goes to geometry. So instead of it's like half the work is done. Thanks to Jack Lucas, Com Delay Filento, Simon Thomas, Pablo Viscas for involving themselves with this trivial but very elegant solution. GPv3 general panel for offset modifier. So in Grease Pencil version 3 you are going to get this offset modifier. So thanks to Pratik Borade for involving himself with this thing. We are going to get the hook modifier as well in Grease Pencil version 3. Thanks to Wimingbu and Falk David for involving themselves with this thing. You can just place this thing and hold it and hook it off. Serial killers will be very happy with this thing. Video remove non-FF MPEG AVI support by Aras Prankshevicius. So Blender had a very limited only uncompressed or MJPEG files. It used to give a file size of 650 MB. Instead now it will be able to give 54 MB. And if you are maniac, you can also get 2 GB of file size, which is lossless, because earlier it used to be a raw file of 10 GB. But thanks to Aras Prankshevicius, we can use our hard disk efficiently. Reduce playback stalls when new video clips start playing. Thanks to Aras Prankshevicius, what it actually does is when you have new files and when you are trying to play, it takes a little bit of hiccup. So now it won't be doing that. The buffer system is going to work flawlessly. Thanks to Dr. Sergey Sharbrain and Mr. Aras for involving themselves with this thing. And you know what you should be thankful of? The 2 slides which are going to come on your face. UV support changing the opacity of UV stretching overlay. We have a nice video. I am really thankful for people like Samuel Balek, which makes our life easier, and thanks to Pablo Viscas and Jerome Becker for involving themselves with this thing. So what it actually does is, in the UV we have the option of seeing this, how much of the map is being stretched. So now we get this opacity that can show us the stretching of UV maps. Thank you very much, Samuel Belek and Jerome Becker. And you know what you should be thankful of? You should be thankful of UI improvements to confirmation of packed resources. And thanks to Harley Action by deciding correctly of what is the step you are going to take using Blender. This was how it used to work. Some images are printed on. These changes will be lost. Do you want to continue? But now they are having a proposal of some images are modified and these changes will be lost. Do you want it to pack it into the blend file, or do you want to just get the hell out of here? So this was the left brain people who were coming up with all this coding part and getting things right inside the Blender. It's like bringing articulate things to a usable thing. Very articulate things to usable things. Now we are going to see how this beautiful software is being used by the abstract people, the right-brained people. Isn't it great that these people are like understanding the mathematics, the coding part, the user interface, the understanding of humans, psychology, and how they are going to figure out things to come up with something beautiful, and doing it all for the price of an air. You know what you should be thankful of? This too. So up until now we have been seeing all the left brain people who are creating all these beautiful codes and beautiful softwares. Now we are going to see how they are being used and created new artworks. So this will be added to Blender 4.2, which is what you can drag and drop, either expand, override or shuffle all the clips that you are going to add to the timeline, and it will either help you expand it, you can drag and drop it and it will create a space and put the short clip there, or you can overwrite it and you also have an option to shuffle. So thanks to Tin for posting this thing. Thank you very much. This one, that he tried baking 4 different procedural materials from Blender to texture that has 1 diffuse, 1 normal and 1 roughness used by a single material for the whole tree. And this is how it is visible in Blender, and this is how it will be visible in Godot. It's almost identical. What more do you want in your life? Then the next thing is by Cartesian Caramel Lego Mars Mission Switch Fighter Final Animation. Look at the quality of the animation that he has come up with. The thing is different, that he will be vomiting right after ejecting out of the seat. But still, it's really nicely done. Actually, for all this thing, you should be thankful to Cartesian Caramel for posting this thing. You should also be thankful to all the Blender developers who have come up with all these beautiful things together, put this software for a price of an air. And you know what you should be thankful for? So the next thing is by Farooq Abdur. He has shown a free tool using a Sculpt Bridge tool, which is free by @BuildMaker tool. Easy to use and create bridge mesh. This could be used for creating slimes which are coming out of salivas, which are coming out of the mouths, or any other organic type of thing. Really nicely presented, basically. It also has an option to make a hole. This itself looks like a character, isn't it? A slimy character. So the next is by Steven Z. He created an advanced robotic modular sentinel. This is the output of Blender. Can you imagine it? Yes, you can imagine it right now. But when I was connected with Blender and looking at the entire development cycle, I didn't expect that it would be going so great. Thank you, Steve Z, for giving us the glimpse of what can be done. And this was just a moment ago where you can see how the driver might get vomiting if it tries to be too much flashy. They done Cartesian Caramel, the angel of especially geometry nodes. Dylan Gu, he has created this beautiful Those are all the cats, by the way, and you can find it on YouTube as well. You can write Avatar Cats 3D. You will get this. Thank you, Dylan Gu, to show us what is possible out of this awesome software. And this is also by 80 level, who showed that Marcus Austin's Ragdoll Dynamics plugin is finally available outside of Maya, which was a plugin for Maya. Now it is available for Blender, and it gives a ragdoll physics type of thing. And really nice. And look at the output they will be showing after some time. This is the sharp thing. You just give them some options and they will be acting just like the way you would want them to behave. Nicely done. Thank you, Marcus Otson, and more important, thank you, 80 level. The next is by Rio M Graphics. The procedural skin model. These are the different layers of the skin, and with the help of geometry nodes procedural thing, you can get it behave as you want it, and it's very useful for explaining especially the doctors or the future doctors, so that they could understand and apply science to its maximum fullest. The next thing by Katana Dragon, yeah, this is the showcase of Godot engine, of what it is possible right now. And you just need to, why I am showing Godot is because you can mix Blender with Godot engine, and you can either create educational content or entertainment content. So Katana Dragon, thanks Katana Dragon for coming up with this thing. It is mainly created in Godot engine, but you know what, Blender can be used along with Godot engine. And you know what you should be thankful for? These two slides which are coming on the face of this video. Patrick W. Crawford, who has shown us the road generator add-on, which can be utilized within the Godot engine, so that you could create roads quickly and easily, so that you could focus on things that matter for your game, rather than investing too much of time into understanding how these roads are to be modeled. Isn't it great? It's awesome. Thank you, Patrick W. Crawford. And by the way, this is a great work by B Dog. Feels like he's asking me to be a dog. IK control demonstration. Yeah, this is also a very nice thing. Just look at it. What IK controls, inverse kinematics, for those who don't know, what it is capable of getting done. Instead of moving the entire, instead of moving individual objects, you can move the entire limbs of robots or people or character or animal or any other thing for that matter. It's a very nice way of quickly animating the movements of limbs. For those who feel that some of the objects are coming out of the body, they can be limited. They can be limited. The possibilities are, depending on your imagination, endless. This I just wanted to include here in this video because Nick does 3D stuff. Yes, I can clearly see that. He showed us what IK is and how important it is if you want to get into animation side of things, like you want to animate the movements. And this is by the Godot engine. It involves the idle animation, like if you are not moving anything and the gun will have some movements. This is called idle animation, and he included it into the movement of the character gun. Nicely executed. This is available for, and this is procedural, by the way. For those who don't know procedural, you can change the values on the fly rather than giving keyframes, and if you want to make changes, changing the keyframes, nothing like that. It's procedural, changeable at any time. Yeah, like instead of importing something over here and then placing it somewhere, he incorporated, especially Doorcat, incorporated a way just to bring and place the things where you want, and things are just done. Instead of bringing it and then placing it, then rotating it or keeping it somewhere, bring it and place it, bring it and place it. Half of the thing is done. The level editors for the game will fall in love with this tool, and thanks to Dorcat who showed us what is possible with Godot. On the foot of the game, this is some kind of a car derby slash what they say, that car demolition or car death race type of thing, where one of the car is just out of the frame. As the 2 minutes paper creator says, don't see at what has happened, instead look at what will happen in the future just by looking at these things. 2 games down the line, 2 technologies down the line. This is by Paolo Barbo. He has created an illustration using Krita. Nicely done. It's having some wacky style, but it's memorable. Kind of boring forest painting from the Vic. Just look at what he's saying, boring. And it just comes up with the thought that if he keeps his canvas a little bit slanted, instead of rotating his face, he could just keep his face straight and start painting it. Half of the work is done. And this is his like, he's trying to be humble, by the way, just by saying that it's not something great. And if he's getting boring and doing something like this, think of what will he do if he's motivated. Yeah, this one is also a very nice thing by Fixie, especially for the basketball lovers. That was especially done entirely in Krita. Krita also has an animation system where you can draw frame by frame to get the animation done, which also is there in Blender in the form of grease pencil. The entire module is called as grease pencil. Really innovative and mixing the possibilities of 3D and 2D entirely in one space. In Krita you can only draw on a 2D plane, but in Blender you can push it behind or forward, and you can also get depth of field. And for that, you know what you should be thankful for? These 2 slides which are going to come in your face. Designed OC for an RPG table by Taka. You created this cute little artwork using Krita. Yeah, this guy, Richie Curie. He is making comic panels using Blender and GIMP. Like, beneath the canopy of the stars in the night, we are but fireflies in the night, casting our light against the backdrop of eternity. But you can see the possibilities of mixing all these softwares which are just for the price of air. For that, you must be thankful and should include yourself in the Blender Development Fund, Krita Development Fund, GIMP Development Fund. Medieval art created by entirely GIMP. Speed art video will be out tomorrow, and thanks to La Guardia del Pirata, the Pirate's Den. So he created this awesome thing using GIMP. Has all the sense of mystery and intrigue on the same canvas at the same time. And you know what you should be thankful for? These 2 slides which are going to come in your face. By the way, this video is posted by Pixcourse and non-destructive editing GIMP so-and-so value.
GIMP users have long faced a challenge.
Just look at it, what is there?
Once changes were made to an image, adjusting them later wasn't easy. But now, there's a solution. GIMP 2.999.18 introduces non-destructive editing. To use this feature, all you need to do is apply any filters or color adjustments, just like you have been doing previously. The changed part is, in the layer panel, you can now see a glasses icon. This icon indicates that a non-destructive effect has been applied to that layer. By clicking on the glasses icon, a small layer effect panel pops out. From there, you can double-click on the effect to readjust the effect. In the same panel, you can see many icons, like 2 arrows for changing the order of effects, 1 for merging, and 1 for deleting the effect. And here's the best part. Non-destructive editing also works on custom-made filters and effects. This means all the effects I mentioned in my previous videos can also work non-destructively on it.
non-destructively. On the fly you can change it. Thank you Pixcore for coming up with this video and posting it out so that people like us can understand what this thing is. And this is by Inkscape software by Mehran @Draco Warren. And note that it feels like a painting, but it is vector. And what vector means is, according to your requirement, you can scale it as much as you want. You can make it the size of the billboard, you can make it the size of a logo, and it will still maintain and retain its edges and qualities of the edges. It will not get pixelated as the image. So that is the difference between pixel and vector. So for vector, Inkscape is the best way to go, which is for the price of an air. And this was also done in Inkscape, a vector creating software. So these are vector arts. Then you try to scale it, it will retain and maintain its quality of the edges without getting pixelated. So that is the quality of vectors. And this by Chris Hildenbrand, he created and played with transparency and ability to scale a seamless pattern in Inkscape. He created this awesome artwork, makes me nostalgic of Nemo. So that's it for this week. Hope you liked these things. So remember to go to blenderjob.com to connect with different people who are interested in this kind of open source softwares and open source ecosystem. Until then, try to see it, explore it, understand it. I will see you in the next video.